In the other videos that I've created regarding ArrayList, we've been working with an ArrayList of string. Let's now create an ArrayList that works with objects. Create a brand new project, and we're going to call this ArrayList of Objects. I'll click Finish. And the first thing I want to do is come into the package over here, and I want to create a brand new class. So I'm going to right mouse click, New, Java class. I'll call it Teams. Click Finish. I'm going to go ahead and give it some attributes. I'll give it string team name. I'll give it int wins and int losses. The other thing I can do while I'm here, right mouse click in the class and choose Insert Code. Let's go ahead and create getters and setters. We'll create that for all the attributes by clicking on the checkbox. And then I'm going to put my cursor once again inside the class. I pressed Enter to add a little space. Right mouse click, Insert Code, Constructor. I'm going to leave them unchecked. Click Generate. That makes a brand new default constructor. I'm going to do it one more time. Insert Code, Constructor, and I'll choose Team Name and click Generate. So now I have two constructors. One is the default constructor that says no parameters are passed. The other one says I receive one parameter of type string called team name. I take the value from that parameter and I assign it to the attribute for the object. There's the Teams class now in place. I'm going to come back to my main program, and I wanted to create an array list of team objects now. Remember, what you do is you start off by saying ArrayList less than sign. Then you have to specify the data type. Now in the past, we were putting string, meaning that we were going to create an array list of string. Well, I don't want string anymore. I want to create objects, and they need to be team objects. So the class name now becomes the data type that I want to create. So I can type in the word teams. That's just my class name. Let me show it to you one more time. Here's my class. There's the class name. Come back to here. We're going to make an array list of teams. I'm going to call it AO teams, and I have to instantiate the array list. New array list less than greater than, call a constructor semicolon. Once again, click on this symbol, add the import for the array list. I now have an array list that's ready to hold team objects. I'm going to go ahead and create a new counter, and I'm going to create another variable that will keep track of data from the keyboard. So I'll say scanner os scan equals new scanner system.in. I need to include the import for that scanner object. Now I'm going to create a loop that says the following. Let's say I want to create, I want to add 3 items to this array list. For I count is equal to 0, and as long as I count is less than 3, then I want to stay in this loop. And I want to say enter a team name. Now, what I want to do is when they enter that team name from the keyboard, I want to take that data and store it into that array list of team objects. Before I do this, I want to go back to the class and make sure you saw the constructor that was made that says we can create an object of type teams if they pass us a string value that we call team name. So I could come back over to here and say AO teams dot add, and then I need to add some item. Now in the past we did strings. I want to add an object. How do you create an object? You have to use the keyword new, and then you call the constructor name, which is the class name, parentheses, and then remember I want to pass it the data from the keyboard. os scan.next line. That says get data from the keyboard, pass it to the constructor teams, create the new object, and store that new object to the array list. Once I'm done with that array list, I'm going to go ahead and do another for loop that prints off all of the items in that list so you can see that it worked. And this time, instead of using the number 3, I'm going to go ahead and use the size of the array list. Make it a little more robust and flexible. And I'm going to print off the team name is, and then I'm going to concatenate the AO teams, which is our array list, dot get iCount. Now remember, this says go out to the array list and get whatever is in the position of iCount. First time it's 0, then 1, then 2. Now what is out there in the position iCount? It's an object. What do objects have? Attributes and methods. So since this part returns an object, if I ran this right now, just watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and run it. Enter a team name, BYU, WSU, USU. It prints off ArrayListOfObjects.team @ 5C647E05 339097. These are memory locations. This is just saying we're printing off the address of each of those objects. That's not what I wanted to print off. I want to print off the name, the team name for each of those objects inside the array list. This is the array list. This gets an item from the array list at that position. So this whole thing says go out to that position and get an item. That item happens to be an object. And what do objects have? They have attributes and methods. So I'm saying go to the object in that position and call the getTeam method, getTeamName method. Let's run that one more time and see how it looks. BYU, WSU, USU. And now I access the team name for each object. And that's how you create an array list of objects, how you can load up that array list of objects from the keyboard, and then how you can access each of those objects stored in the array list.